This one is going to be very difficult to get through, and it's going to hurt, but I think at this point that's kind of what I want in my life. This is the UTF Archive Dive, episode 13, video from May 2012 called You Can't Justify Cheating, Moron. I'll just save the things that I want to say. I have run through this video a little bit. I'll save my commentary because I've tried to record this video a few times and the intro has been like 20 minutes long. Really long, because there's a lot of shame in this video. And if you're somebody who knows a little bit about my history and you've heard some things, you probably already know that I'm a major raging hypocrite. My 21-year-old self saw cheating, unfaithfulness as this really black and white issue. And then 5 years later, I would go on to be the cheater. And wouldn't you know it, I would be trying to justify it. Trying to make it as palatable as I possibly could. Trying to make my being a complete piece of human shit being as palatable as I possibly could. And you know what stings even worse? Is that another 5 years later, I don't have anything to show for it. So let's dive right in, shall we?
I have strep throat, so I should be in bed. I should be resting. I should be watching the late night feature on Skinamax with my lotion and tissues and my usual Forever Alone, whatever. But this is
the cheap jokes. I was so interested in making the cheap, quick joke, like lube, lotion, tissues, penis, ha 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 ha, like. Yeah, well, that's not even what hurts the most. We'll just keep going here.
This is the last day that I think I'll be having this camera, because tomorrow my actual new awesome HD...
You shouldn't care about a camera that I had 11 years ago. I don't care about a camera that I had 11 years ago, so we'll just skip a little bit.
That's for a different time, though. Anyway, let's try to make this a good video. I was talking to a buddy yesterday. He had been cheated on a week before. And he was hurt, he was still down, and he was still very dejected and wondering, what he did that was so wrong that made her do this. It turns out that she had told him very recently that if he hadn't have been the way that he was, she probably wouldn't have had to go and find somebody else to confide in.
Okay, so let's start with a little bit of history based on what I just said right there. That is almost verbatim exactly what I told the person I cheated on 5 years ago to be in this, 5 years ago, to be in this current relationship. Pretty much what I said, that if you didn't make things so hard, if I didn't feel so trapped, if I didn't feel like that I didn't have any option but to seek someone that I could commiserate with, because this person also cheated on her partner to be with me. That maybe, like, I was making every excuse in the book, basically. And it just, the thing that should have mattered the most were the feelings of the person who was being cheated on, because here's the thing. Even if you take that ring off, even if you have convinced yourself that your relationship is dead, the way that I convinced myself that that relationship was dead, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person on the other side considers your relationship or your marriage or what have you dead. So if they see you or know that you're palling around with somebody or that you've got something on the side, they're going to hurt. They're going to hurt. It's going to hurt them. And it really, the full realization of this reality doesn't set in until you find yourself again kind of, sort of, like I am currently on the other side of it, where you've got a situation where one person has got no romantic prospects whatsoever. The relationship is more or less in the toilet. But the other person has got, like, is already telling you that, oh, I've got people interested in me. It hurts. It is very, very disheartening. And knowing that I did not think at all about the feelings of my ex, to this day, especially watching this, yeah.
Now, admittedly, this guy was not always the best boyfriend. He was never abusive. He was never, emotionally or physically abusive. He was never hurtful. He always made sure she was taken care of. But admittedly, even he would admit he wasn't the best boyfriend. I mean, whenever she had problems, he didn't have the best answers. He didn't have.
Also, I do not remember who this person is. This example, for all I know, I could have just made it up out of thin air. I'm pretty sure it's a real example, but I don't remember who the hell I'm even talking about.
Have the best solution. Sometimes he could be an asshole, Sometimes he could. But he told me maybe she has a point. Maybe if I had been a little bit more emotionally available, maybe if I'd been better, maybe if I could have given her what the guy she cheated on me with gave her, maybe this wouldn't have happened, and maybe we'd still be together. And, get that shit out of here.
This is a point in the video where it feels to me, because I have watched through this a little bit, this is a point in the video where it feels like 21-year-old me is just excoriating 32, almost 33-year-old me, just talking straight to him and just saying that you are essentially what I just said there. Get that shit out of here. Yeah, you'll see.
This is for all of you that have ever cheated on anybody. I don't care how much remorse you feel. I don't care how much guilt you feel. I don't care if you don't care about it. You need to hear this. There is absolutely no excuse to cheat on somebody. And I'm not going to try to be the golden boy and say, oh, I could never see myself cheating on anybody. Oh, it's so wrong. You're going to hell if you cheat. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has their flaws, but it's what we make of those flaws that amounts to who we are.
I was giving myself an out for the future. Like, it's true. Like, who among us and all of that stuff. Like, yeah, we are flawed beings. No one's perfect. Things like this do happen. But it's almost, when I watch it back, I feel like I was just kind of like giving myself an out for the future. Now, I have to tell you, at this point in my life, I had been cheated on twice. I'd been cheated on twice. And not very long after this video originally was made. So maybe I was, that had a little bit to do with why the video is being made. Yeah.
It's like this. If you are trying to find justification for cheating on somebody, you do not belong in a relationship. Just go find a fuck buddy. Go find a friend with benefits, preferably one with a few STDs, because you do not belong in a relationship. You do not belong in a position.
There it is again, STDs. Chlamydia, it's funny. People laugh at, gross humor and, like another cheap joke. But yeah, that essentially, I still stand behind that. If you're a serial cheater, and if monogamy ain't for you, then go do a non-monogamous relationship. Practice ethical non-monogamy or whatever it's called. Some people just weren't built to be with one person. Maybe that's what it is. If you find yourself, like, if you have just been unfaithful towards like a series of people, and you're like 40 years old or 50 years old, and you're like, what am I doing wrong? Maybe it's just not for you, and maybe you should stop hurting other people just so you can go and get your dick wet. Just a thought.
Where you can hurt another human being's life like that and make them feel down and sad and dejected and make them think that they were so flawed that you had to go and cheat on them. You are a coward if you do this. You are a spineless coward. If you have a problem with somebody, if you have a problem with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, tell them. Let them know. Because once you tell them and let them know, guess what happens? progress. Things can ameliorate. Things could get better. But what happens if you just go find somebody else who can give you what you need emotionally or physically? Nothing happens. You end up feeling shame, guilt, remorse. Or sometimes you don't feel bad at all.
That was me. I really didn't feel bad because I tried to justify cheating as a moron. I really thought that what I was doing with this other person was an inevitability of the situation I was in, where I felt like I couldn't talk to this person, I couldn't reason with them, and I could reason with this other person, and made me feel all these feelings, and this other person wasn't making me feel all of these feelings. I tried. I really did try to make, again, to make my being a shit human being seem palatable at the expense of the feelings of somebody else who deserved a lot better.
But whatever the case, nothing happens at all. If you actually have the balls to talk to your boyfriend or girlfriend and say, here, this is what we need to work on, this is what we need to fix, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. If you sit there and try to justify the fact that you had to go find somebody else to make you feel good while you still had this guy over here on your arm, you're a failure as a human being. You are a failure as a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and you simply should not be in a relationship ever again until you change your line of reasoning. Period. It's that simple.
It's not that simple, okay? I'll stop there. It's not that simple, but I still stand behind that. If you find that this is a regular thing in your life, don't be in relationships. Don't put yourself in a situation where another person has to suffer for your impropriety, you know.
And I couldn't even believe my friend was starting to buy this crap. Starting to buy that maybe he deserved to be cheated on. Deserved to wake up one night and go into the other room and see his girlfriend in bed with another guy. That's reprehensible. And this girl, for all intents and purposes, the girl in question that I'm talking about, she's one of the worst people on the face of this earth. Even before this happened, I knew that one day this kind of stuff would happen.
I don't remember.
Guy, girl does not matter. It doesn't matter at all. It is absolutely spineless to have to go and cheat on somebody. If you have a problem with them, talk about them, because we all have flaws. When you're in a relationship, the guy you're across from, the girl you're across from, doesn't matter. Eventually, there are going to be some flaws that come up. Eventually, you're going to find something you don't like. It is how you handle that amounts to what your relationship will be. It is how you handle those with maturity and class and tact that amounts to what your relationship will be.
Where was 21-year-old me, like three or 4 years ago, when the cracks were starting to show in my own marriage, coaching me with this kind of with this gusto, with this enthusiasm? What happened? What happened? It's like of course it's how you face adversity that is a huge indicator of the way that your relationship is going to go. Absolutely. And there are certain triggers, there are certain things that happen in a relationship that you think that you're going to be able to withstand and weather, especially because you feel like your life is so much better than where it was. My life here was so much better than where it was. And in a lot of ways it still is. Personally, no. It's absolutely not better. It's worse. There's been a lot of trauma. There's been a lot of things that I've had to witness that I would not have ever had to have witnessed had I just stayed where I was, but I also would have been more miserable. So it's kind of like, that's life, that's trade-offs. It's the compromises you make. You leave behind a miserable life to, witness DT seizures and lifeless seizures in the middle of airports and, DUIs and, those are the trades you make. And over time you begin to wonder if it's the convenience you're staying for, or if it's your true and deep honest love for that person, which I still do have, but they're quite obviously moving far on from me, and I'm really beginning to feel the way that my ex must have felt when I did the deed. That watching someone you love just kind of fade away in favor of, other people. Or another person. Especially when they tell you point blank that, yeah, there are some people interested in me. I don't believe in karma at all. I don't believe that there is some kind of spiritual energy out there that is trying to balance the world. If it does exist, it's doing a pretty terrible job, because the people that do some of the worst things on this planet, they're not really getting their comeuppance. They keep getting away with it. They just go on business as usual. Your Elon Musks of the world, all of your billionaires of the world. They get rewarded for being complete toxic pieces of shit to this planet, to humanity, to the environment. Karma doesn't exist, but this is about as close as I've ever felt to actual karmic justice being thrown at me. Cheating on somebody and then having to hear that, not only is your relationship kind of ending, but you don't feel nearly as comfortable as the other person about already moving on with someone physically. So in that sense, it's like this other person isn't cheating, but you're still married. And you still feel like you're married to this person. You still feel like something can be saved. And they're just out doing, whatever. And that is probably exactly how my ex felt. And, it's just the way life is. It's something that happened, and it's like, okay, move on already. I have moved on. I have fully reckoned with what I did to her. But it's not until it happens to you that you begin to start to process it all over again. This is not a case of I'm not over 5 years ago. This is not a case of I'm stuck in the past. This is a case of I'm facing what I doled out to somebody else, and I just fucking despise how it feels. It sucks. But my hands are not clean.
If Joey's doing something that you don't like, well, talk about it. And ask him, why he does it. The mutual component is what keeps the relationship together. Not running off with Vinny at the freaking boardwalk and giving him head underneath the freaking pier, okay? That's not what helps your relationship. I don't care what Jersey Shore tells you.
Okay.
Have some balls. Progress comes from communication and discussing the problems we have with one another. It is that simple. Anyway, I'm going to go take my antibiotic and be forever alone some more. And, oh, no. This whole thing was not about me. No, it wasn't me. I have been cheated on in the past, but this wasn't about it. This really was not about me. I'm absolutely serious.
It totally was. But, probably.
I'm just forever alone anyway. And I'm fine with that. But I'm going to go.
I'm not fine with that.
And hopefully my new camera will be here tomorrow. Oh, have a good day.
Okay, yeah, so that's that. I really felt as though, again, that 21-year-old me was reaching through the screen and bitch slapping me over and over, repeatedly, back and forth. This is what you get. I'm not, people, I truly believe this, and I've always believed this, that, you don't really get what you deserve, whether it's good or bad. It's never about what you deserve. It's just the cards you're dealt are the cards you're dealt. It's how you play the hand. And in the case of my current situation, I overplayed my hand. In the case of the previous situation, I stayed my hand and I tried to justify so many things. When you're at the point where you're just kind of, I don't know. Oh no. Yeah, there it is. I forgot which key binding I put to switch scenes, so that's very cheap looking, I know. Yeah, when you're at the point where you're digging for justifications for why you're being unfaithful, maybe that should be like a really big red flag to you. Like, okay, maybe we should have an actual discussion, and maybe we should really figure out what's what here. But who knows? Like, if I could take anything from that whole situation, it's that when it comes to having negative feelings about a relationship, the best course of action for everybody involved, unless you want to be selfish as fuck, is to just lay it out on the line, to just lay it out there and be like, hey, I want to go bang other people. I don't want to keep sending these vague signals that, I want to go and bang other people. I'm just going to give you the full signal that, that's kind of what I'm dealing with. And again, it does hurt. Like, it's been a long time coming, but when you're in a situation where you don't have the tool, you're not equipped to just go out and move on, not like the other person. The other person is fully equipped. It's their native country. They're in a college university situation. They've got all of they've lamented in the past that, I could have slept with so many people. And, it's like there's a huge imbalance. There's a huge imbalance, and it really bites. It really bites. And, watching this back, I don't know what else to say. It stinks. It stinks that I didn't get my shit together quicker, because I should have seen something like this coming. I couldn't see alcoholism and other things like that coming necessarily. And talk with your people. Talk to them. I don't necessarily think that it's right to shame people relentlessly for cheating on other people, because it's not a black and white issue. No matter how much I try to make it out to be a black and white issue, and no matter how much it hurts me to this current day, it's still not black and white. Sometimes things die, and sometimes you meet people, I guess. But to shame people for it's just like, you may as well shame them for being human. You may as well yell at them for having oxytocin in their brains. Shame them for having hormones and chemicals, and you don't have to be happy about it. You don't have to tolerate it. Cheating, impropriety, unfaithfulness at all. You don't know. Hell no, you don't have to tolerate it. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is essentially, I don't even know what I'm saying anymore, so I'm just going to end the video. I hope you enjoyed this dive into my shame, and I don't want to call it regret, because it's something I can't go back and change no matter how much I try. They haven't invented a time machine yet. All I can really do right now with this situation is hope for the best and prepare for the worst, which is yet to come. Have a good day, folks.